Boxing fans are some of the most funny fans I've ever seen. Maybe these new age boxing fans, especially. Everybody was talking about before this Usyk rematch, even going back to his first loss with Andy Ruiz, that AJ doesn't have the hunger anymore. He doesn't have the eye of the tiger, so to speak, anymore. And then the minute he shows his emotion at the end of the Usyk fight, people are bashing him. Now you have to understand the dude's been, I'm sure, staying on social media, and people like to say these things don't affect them, but it kind of can affect you if you read a lot of or hear a lot of negative stuff about you. And he's just constantly getting bashed. I think he had it. He was saying something to Usyk at the end of the fight about how did you win? You got skill. I got character. Something like that. He got on the mic, gave a speech, talked about how he went to jail, talked about how people say he's not moving around like Mike Tyson and Sonny Liston. He's like, I'm not Sonny Liston. I'm a big guy, so don't expect me to do what the smaller guys do. It's like he had just had it at the press conference. He started crying, and I just really felt bad for the guy, because he's been a great champion, been a great ambassador for the sport. He's the reason most of us are even interested in the heavyweight division right now anyway, because of his tremendous fight against Vladimir Klitschko. So now those same people that talk about he didn't show passion and all that want to bash him for what he said at the end of the Usyk fight. And, I was watching Showbiz the Adult, and he was saying how, AJ shouldn't cry because he was saying that he's more relatable now. Before he was almost like, this over-the-top role model that some couldn't relate to, but now that he's lost a couple times and, he showed emotion, that's probably going to bring him even more fans. So, and like I keep saying, Usyk didn't blow Joshua out by any stretch of the imagination. Some people even say they had the fight even at the 10th round. So I'm going to go back and watch it and see what I thought. I was watching Spencer Farron on Stamina for Sale. They had on Lennox Lewis. Lennox Lewis says he cannot understand how Joshua's corner told him he was winning after 3 rounds. He was saying that's crazy. He was also saying that AJ would have to make a lot of changes, but, he would have to sort himself out first. Even if AJ was having what some would call a meltdown at the end of that fight, can you blame the guy? He just went 12 rounds back to back with one of the top fighters in the world. So, Usyk will give anybody problems. I picked Tyson Fury to beat him should they fight, but that's for now. I might change my mind later. But even if Tyson Fury beats Usyk, it's not going to be a walk in the park. So I just want these boxing fans to stop acting like these fighters aren't human beings. They're human beings like we are. Just because they don't go to a 9 to 5 every day and all that, you can't treat them like they don't have emotions, they don't have feelings. He was saying what he thought, and he was still bigging up Usyk. It's just, it's like he said he was mad at himself. I saw him walk into the tunnel, looked like he was getting into it with some of the fans. Someone told him to be professional, and he said, "Who are you talking to?" The dude, you should have seen me at some boxing matches I was at. I was totally, I was just out of character, let's put it like that. It can happen. His adrenaline's rushing, but stop blaming the guy for all this, People want to see emotion from a guy. They want to see hunger, especially when you make so many million. They want to know that you still have the hunger to fight. And then the minute you show it, they try to bash you for it. Boxing fans are an interesting group, I don't think I've seen any other sport where fans are quite like this. I don't like football. Baseball, the fans are really into it, and they have their own teams and they have their favorites, but they just seemed a little more unbiased. And I had picked Usyk to win by 8th round stoppage. I was wrong, but Usyk won by decision. I was over on Andrew Tucker World. We were calling the fight live as it happened in real time, and I changed my mind at the last minute, and I picked AJ to win, and he definitely shouldn't retire. For those out there talking about he should retire, no, no way. Usyk didn't blow this guy out. In fact, it was almost like the first fight. Usyk's face looked more messed up at the end of the fight than AJ's did. It's like Lennox Lewis said, you establish everything with the jab, and he didn't see enough of that and then attack the body. You know, all he had to do was really let his hands go, and we would have had a different result. But he has nothing to be ashamed about. I still feel he can whoop everybody in the division. You know, maybe I'm not sure about Tyson Fury or, you know, of course, Usyk. You know, I think that's all wrong for him. Other than Tyson Fury and Usyk, and I'm not sure Tyson Fury could beat AJ, but he would still give people problems. And I still think it came down, a lot of this fight came down to the corner. I've said it and said it and said it. If AJ had James Bashir in his corner, we would have seen a different result because he was with Usyk for 3 years. He knew how to beat him. He said he knew how to stop him quickly. But, you know, he chose Robert Garcia and Angel, is it Fernandez or Hernandez? One of them. But I think he still has to revamp his camp, bars, and bring in James Bashir. He's available, at least he was. It only makes sense because he has a promising career. He came in great shape. And I was a little disappointed, you know, I thought because with the ring walks, you know, they had all the digital screens on the side coming in. I thought that was cool, but I couldn't really hear the music. I wanted to hear what music he was coming into. But that's another topic. Anyway, all you people out there bashing AJ, talking about he didn't give Usyk his moment, he was having a meltdown. Even if he was having a meltdown, it's like you saw him, like they said on the DAZN telecast, you saw him dealing with the loss in real time. And you see that he's passionate. If you're going to go off like that at the end of the fight, and if you're going to cry at the press conference, I mean, that shows that you still have a tremendous hunger. Eddie Hearn stood up for him like a G. He was talking about how he has nothing to be ashamed of, and Usyk is just too good. And I remember Chris Rock had a joke years ago. He was talking about Rocky IV with Ivan Drago fighting Rocky Balboa for the heavyweight championship of the world. Chris Rock said, 2 white guys fighting for the heavyweight championship of the world? That's Steven Spielberg or something else. But now we might have it with Alexander Usyk and Tyson Fury, both believers in the Most High. Notice that? Guys at the top believe in the Most High. Yeah. So, where does AJ need to go from here? I think he just needs to clean house of his training camp, bring in James Bashir, you know, take some time off for a little bit, take an easy fight. The guy's resume is the best in the heavyweight division. He hasn't really had an easy fight yet other than Charles Martin. And that wasn't supposed to be easy on paper. It ended up easy in the ring. But take some time off, have a little bit of fun. The dude stays in the gym like Usyk does. And I want to congratulate Usyk, by the way, for being a tremendous champion and, you know, just a great fighter. And he knows how to adapt during a fight. He stays busy. The guy seems to pick up energy the more he fights. The longer the fight goes, he seems to pick up energy, and that's what makes him special. He has the same birthday as Ali. So they have a lot of the same traits. Both great fighters and will be always recognized as that. But anyway, all you bandwagon hoppers, you know, get off of AJ. If you've never been in the ring also, it's kind of hard for you to understand the emotions that go into boxing during a fight, before a fight, after a fight. It takes tremendous mental strength to even step in those ropes. Even just to spar, it takes tremendous heart. A lot of guys, you know, don't even want to spar with headgear and bigger gloves. So these guys are fighting with small gloves, no headgear, in front of crowds, having whole countries behind their backs. That's a lot of pressure. You got your family watching, your friends, you got people you're supporting. So, you know, you got to look at it from every angle. And it's just not wise to bash people that you're paying to watch. They're entertaining you. They're risking their lives just to entertain you. And then you turn around and bash him and talk about, oh, he's this, he's that. It's just silly, and it's It's low character, and it's just not right. You know, how would you like somebody to come up to your job when you're expressing yourself and they tell you, "Hey, what are you doing, man? You're this, you're that. You know, you should be fired." I mean, it'd be ridiculous. There's an episode of Seinfeld like that where this lady came and heckled Seinfeld, and I think he went to her job and heckled her so she could see what it felt like. Anyway, AJ, you have nothing to be ashamed about. You're a great champion. I still want to watch you fight. You're the reason I even got back into the heavyweight division. I didn't care what was going on in the division after Lennox Lewis retired. You got me reignited into watching the heavyweight division, and you have a lot more to give. And keep your head up. Shout out to you, Usyk, for being a class act as well. Anyway, it's the J. Roos Theory. Let me know what you guys thought about AJ's speech after the fight. I saw some of the post-fight press conference. Didn't finish watching it all. I'm going to go back and try to catch that. But anyway, let me know what you thought of the fight, the press conference, the speech afterwards. And thanks for watching to all my subscribers. If you didn't see the live broadcast me and Andrew Tucker World did, go check it out. Shout out to him. Shout out to Young Billy Boxing, Mr. Boxing Today 2, Showbiz the Adult, Counterpunch Boxing News with Kurt, Boxing Wave, and LSR Forever. The reason I do this, make sure to subscribe and be fearless. Yay, yay.